Hello guys, Box of Chocolates here. Just kind of wanted to give you an informative video this time, coming from the preview sector. They opened the preview sector up tonight and they had made some changes to the unit customization, so I wanted to check those out and provide you an update on those. But they also had several other changes that were fairly significant, so I wanted to make sure I went over those with you, and I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible. So please, if you have any questions, as always, give me a holler, PM me, catch me in World Chat, whatever. As far as visual changes go, let's start there. With the user interface, you'll see that all the buildings on the side have been added to this little tab that you can go up and down. The only ones that will show are buildings that have something going on in them, whether it's research or something's building in it. That's the only time that you will see those. As far as the only other visual change I have seen, it's to the rocket buggy. I actually like the visual change they've done with this. Gave it a more slick look, a little more futuristic look. Made it look really, really nice in my opinion. It's much better than the Humvee or the Rhino, which I think look absolutely horrible, especially the Elite versions. As far as some game changes go, first and foremost, a level 7 command center. This upgrade is going to require a lot of resources, guys, and yes, that does say 2 million in thorium. Because of the thorium, it gives you the 5-second upgrade time, but this is going to be something, once again, for people who have already been upgrading those oil and metal storages and can acquire that much resources pretty fast. For the level 7 command center, you get a couple of cool little things. You don't get any more defensive platforms, but with your defensive platforms you get the ability to upgrade it to level 5. This upgrade appears to offer somewhere between 20 and 25% additional armor and a slightly different look. Neither of those is too game changing. I suppose if you don't like attacking bases because killing a single turret takes too long, then you're not going to like it. But that's not a big issue to me. The second thing that you get with it is a second thorium vault. This is a good thing for many of us. Many of us have already gotten to the point where we cannot spend our thorium as fast as it's coming in. This last thorium drop, I had to get rid of a lot of bases quickly, almost immediately after capturing them, because I couldn't hold anymore. So it was just going to drain out. The only concern I have with an additional thorium vault is whether or not it's going to mean we're going to have upgrades that are going to require more than 2 million thorium. That'll be key. That'll maybe make the feeling about having the second vault change. However, as of right now, the second vault is a good thing. The third major change that's going on here is there's been a lot of complaints recently about the level 30 and 35 rogue bases, how they increased the difficulty on them, made them harder to do. They have heard us. They've done a couple things in the preview here that I'm hoping go live. First and foremost, level 35s have seen an increase in the amount of resources they pay out. Currently, they've only been paying out the same as a 30, so it really hasn't been worth it. A little more risk, though, on the 35s, so they're going to increase the payout on those. They are previewing some new designs for level 30 bases that don't appear to be too overpowered. I haven't had a chance to test them yet, which is as a result of the final change, which I'll get into here in just a second. But as of right now, if this were to come into the live game, I don't see a huge issue with it being able to do this relatively safely. I do think that the bases have probably gotten to be a little too easy. Come on guys, we've got to pull tanks out every now and then. We shouldn't be able to do everything with just our air. Speaking of air, that brings us to the final change, guys, and I hope those of you with Hellstorms listen carefully and then go to the forums and post your opinion about this. Supposedly, or apparently somewhere along the line, they have gotten the idea that the Hellstorm is too overpowered for what they called well-designed and upgraded bases that couldn't handle the range on them for some reason. There are enough counters, in my opinion, to the Hellstorm, be it elite riflemen just on the ground, elite riflemen in watchtowers and in bunkers, flak tanks hidden throughout your base, that, and then of course things like Reapers or Valkyries now, that make any change to the Hellstorm completely unnecessary. However, as a result of this apparent OP-ness, they have nerfed the range on the Hellstorm down from 450 at level 10 to an atrociously low 360. Yes, that's right. That means right now in the preview server, Hellstorms have the same range as Cobras and Warhawks at level 10. That is just completely unacceptable for the amount of time and effort going into upgrading them, to earning them in the event, and the fact that the repair time isn't reduced any. They used to outrange a level 5 flak turret at level 1. Now they don't outrange it at all. They will die if they try to kill a flak turret now, and that is just unacceptable. So please go to the forums, let your voice be heard, just like it was with the machine gun turret buff a while back, that they reverted because it wasn't allowing Hellstorm or Hellfire missiles, even if you were firing like 12 of them, you couldn't get it through if there was 3 or more machine guns. It just wasn't going to happen. They, you know, hurt on the level of the base difficulty. You know, it may not be a change that's going to please everyone, and a lot of people just want to go right back to what it was. But as I said, I believe they were a little too easy to begin with. You do need to pull the tanks out every now and then, guys. Okay, that's it for the changes. Now, as far as the unit customization, most of us saw the videos where Razorbacks and Paladins were outranging Plasmas and Max Mortars. They've gone ahead and fixed that, guys. So this video isn't to describe, you know, how OP units are going to be coming out of this. In fact, in my opinion, most units are not going to see too big of an increase, at least as of yet. After playing around with them a little more, maybe, but we'll have to see. The building itself is going to be kind of like your tech center, as far as you're going to have to upgrade it. It's going to take about the same amount of time to get it to level 10 as your tech center did, and it's the exact same size as your academy, so be prepared to have a spot for it. When you go into the workshop, you'll see what units are available to learn modifications for. Right now there's only 6, and to be quite honest, the 6 they picked suck. The Mega Tank's about the only one that is even a decent unit for a high level player to be using on a regular basis as an attacking unit. And, you know, the Suicide Bombers are nice as defenders, and maybe the Heavy Gunners are nice as defenders, but the upgrades on them are not significant enough to truly see a huge change, unless you're like running right over mines and things like that. And we'll get into that here more in just a second. As far as what you can customize, first and foremost, you have 9 different you can save up to 9 templates per unit. That's for each unit. You can delete them, you can save them, you can get to the end and decide you don't want it and restart. It's entirely up to you. The Suicide Bomber has 3 different areas you can customize. Mortar Teams and Heavy Gunners have 4, Razors and Paladins have 5, Mega Tanks have 6. As far as what is needed to upgrade, you're going to need a little bit of everything. We'll get a little bit more into that in just a second. Don't want to skip the fact that you can name the design whatever you want. So if I wanted to name this template Kicks Ice Sucks Balls, I could name it Kicks Ice Sucks Balls. Or if I wanted to name it Mayhem Blows Goats, I'd name it Mayhem Blows Goats, whatever. These icons here are simply that. They don't impact the unit's stats or abilities in any way. They just help you differentiate between the different customized units, from regular ones and then customized units from other customized units. With what you will need to do the upgrades, guys, you'll see 3 different categories: green, purple, and orange. Green means you will need only metal and oil. Purple purple means you will need thorium to do that upgrade. Your thorium needs are going to go through the roof when you want to do this. Why? Because the upgrades only take 5 seconds to do. On some of these you will find it's green for the first 2 and then purple for the next 3. There's one of them where it's green for the first 2, purple in the next 3, and it requires 3 million total thorium to go from 3 to 5. So once again, your thorium needs are going to go through the roof. The final color, orange, is kind of an unknown. You'll see it's an unknown tech item, so you don't even know really what it does other than that it's an armor piece. To learn it, you actually have to go out and attack certain types of bases. For example, this one's Mayhem bases, and find the parts to do it. Plus your workshop does have to be a certain level to get that upgrade completed. With the infantry units in particular, you'll see that some of the things are able to be learned for all 3 units. That means once you've learned it once, you don't have to go back and relearn it again. As far as the different types of things you can learn, guys, you're gonna, with armor, it's gonna be damage mitigation, it's gonna be reduced damage from air or from ground. You might take an immunity to, say, like a stun effect, or an immunity to napalm, or immunity to a slow, a cryo. Or it may just be a percentage damage decrease on that. As far as your rounds go, once again, you're going to be able to add those effects to your rounds. You're going to be able to add a cryo effect, a concussive effect. With the launchers or the barrels or the guns themselves, you're going to see things like rapid fire increases or ability to alternate between 2 targets, which sounds cool, but it really, I don't think is going to be a good application. Or you might see a range increase on them, and that's something that, like I said, they've gone and fixed now, so it's not making the units completely just change the way the game is entirely played. On wheels, for example, you might see a damage decrease from mines up to 95%. There's one on armor that makes you immune to mines, which would be great. I know when I was using Razorbacks, that was the big thing. I didn't lose them to mortars or last chance troops, I lost them to mines, and that's what sucked about it. Finally, you're going to be looking at the engines, which are going to be things like movement speed, acceleration, a combination of both. With the infantry, there's actually an ability to move through the walls. So, some people are saying, well, we just got walls that are worth something, and now you're going to have mega tanks that can fire over them and units that can walk through them. Well, get over it. It happens. It's not going to take units too long to destroy those walls anyway. As far as applying the different things you get, you just simply click on it like you do when you're adding a troop to a platoon. As you can see here, I added the range, a flat range, 15 increase, increased movement speed and acceleration. I don't use my Razorbacks to fire at moving targets, so a freeze effect wouldn't help, but a concussive effect, if it will do that to infantry and bunkers as well. I don't know, I haven't tested it yet, but if it does, that would be a great thing to have there. Vehicle armor, I'm not using them in defense, so I'm not worried about air at all, and then I love the mine mitigation there. Below where the template's at, you'll see the capacity line. This capacity line is linked directly to the level of the unit. For every level, you get 100 capacity. And then below that, you'll see amounts of metal, oil, and thorium. If there's no thorium there, it's not going to require any thorium to equip it. If thorium was used in one of the research, you'll see thorium there. Plain and simple. These amounts are per unit, guys. That means for every Razorback I want to equip with this template, it will require 2.6 mil metal, 2.6 mil oil, and 15,000 thorium. This is the part that gets really, really resource intense. Imagine trying to equip a single platoon of mega tanks at those amounts. You're talking 15 million of each resource to do that. And that's just kind of insane. When you go to equip, this is what that page looks like. You'll start off with your design. It tells you what is part of the design. You'll select your units. It tells you where the units are located, whether they're in a platoon, whether they're in your bunker, whether they're in your storage. And then you just slide them over and you'll see your amounts go up. If the amounts are not what they showed before, it's because maybe that, like for example, this already has a customized Razorbacks on it, so it already has the increased range. Well, I don't need to add the increased range again, if that makes any sense there. That's basically it, guys. I hope it was slightly informative. Please do go to the forums and complain about the Hellstorm range nerf. It's completely unnecessary and would essentially, I honestly can see a lot more players than already have quitting over it. And I would sure hate to not be able to make any more videos for y'all because the air all sucks. If y'all have any questions, catch me in World Chat, post a comment. Otherwise, have a good night and stay frosty.